Palankurma. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye. Nashtra Preshu Bhareshu Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Naisteke. Today we are reading from Canto 8, chapter 19. Lord Vamandev begs charity from Bali Maharaj. We are reading chapter 19, text 16 through 28. O King of the Daityas, from your majesty, who come from such a noble family and who are able to give charity munificently, I ask only three paces of land to the measurement of my steps. Text 17. O King, controller of the entire universe, although you are very munificent and are able to give me as much land as I want, I do not want anything from you that is unnecessary. If a learned Brahmana takes charity from others only according to his needs, he does not become entangled in sinful activities. Text 18. Bali Maharaj said, O son of a Brahmana, your instructions are as good as those of learned and elderly persons. Nonetheless, you are a boy, and your intelligence is insufficient. Thus, you are not very prudent in regard to your self-interest. Text 19. I am able to give you an entire island because I am the proprietor of the three divisions of the universe. You have come to take something from me and have pleased me by your sweet words, but you are asking only 3 paces of land. Therefore, you are not very intelligent. Text 20. O small boy, one who approaches me to beg something should not have to ask anything more, anywhere. Therefore, if you wish, you may ask from me as much land as will suffice to maintain you according to your needs. Text 21. The personality of Godhead said, O my dear king, even the entirety of whatever there may be within the 3 worlds to satisfy one's senses cannot satisfy a person whose senses are uncontrolled. Text 22. If I were not satisfied with 3 paces of land, then surely I would not be satisfied even with possessing one of the 7 islands, consisting of 9 varsas. Even if I possessed one island, I would hope to get others. Text 23. We have heard that although powerful kings like Maharaj Prithu and Maharaj Gaya achieved proprietorship over the 7 Dvipas, they could not achieve satisfaction or find the end of their ambitions. Text 24. One should be satisfied with whatever he achieves by his previous destiny, for discontent can never bring happiness. A person who is not self-controlled will not be happy even with possessing the 3 worlds. Text 25. Material existence causes discontent in regard to possessing one's lusty desires and achieving more and more money. This is the cause for the continuation of material life, which is full of repeated birth and death. But one who is satisfied by that which is obtained by destiny is fit for liberation from this material existence. Text 26. A Brahmana who is satisfied with whatever is providentially obtained is increasingly enlightened with spiritual power, but the spiritual potency of a dissatisfied Brahmana decreases, as fire diminishes in potency when water is sprinkled upon it. Text 27. Therefore, O king, from you, the best of those who give charity, I ask only 3 paces of land. By such a gift I shall be very pleased, for the way of happiness is to be fully satisfied, to receive that which is absolutely needed. Text 28. Sukadeva Goswami continued, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead had thus spoken to Bali Maharaj, Bali smiled and told him, all right, take whatever you like. To confirm this promise to give Vamandev the desired land, he then took up his water pot. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Vindhya Mataji. Hare Krishna, Sri Krishna Das Babaji, please accept our humble obeisances. All Vaishnav Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj, please take over the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Radharani Mataji. Thank you, Vidya Maharaj Mataji, for reading the translation today. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yogam Sikshashtamekam Purusha Puranam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sariradari Kripambaditamaham Prapadye. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langeti girum yatkrupa tamaham mande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. It's a beautiful section. There's so many lessons that we can learn from this section. It's very, very practical. So in this section, we can see that the essence is Lord Vamanadeva appeared as a as a son of Mother Aditi and Kashyap Muni, and now the Lord is a dwarf Brahmana. So Brahmanas are, like Tejasvi. They look very beautiful. Think of a dwarf Brahmana like a boy, a Brahmana. Very, very enchanting to look, and he is personally the Supreme Lord. So what to speak of his enchantment? Is so charming and beautiful. So now he is walking to the place where Bali Maharaj is performing his Ashwamedha Yagyas. He's already conquered the Indraloka. Now he basically owns the entire the planet to himself. So now, as soon as Vamanadev appeared, so enchanting, and Bali Maharaj, just by looking, he was very satisfied. This Brahmana coming, and very sweetly, Lord Vamanadev spoke many, many sweet words, just to glorify. When you see a king, you're supposed to glorify his mighty activities, charitable activities, his lineage, forefathers. And also similarly here, Vamanadev also glorified his father Virochana, his grandfather Prahlad Maharaj, his great grandfather, how they were very chivalry in fighting, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha. So very nicely, with all the sweet words, Vamanadev pleased uh, pleased to hear Bali Maharaj. So and Bali Maharaj was very much satisfied, and so now starting from the verse number 16, we are actually seeing how uh, Vamanadev is speaking more words of appreciation in the family, the lineage of Bali Maharaj. So here we can see how Vamanadev came in this pastime, as a dwarf Brahmana. Of course, the Mother Aditi wanted favor to Lord Indra, but Lord never takes any particular sides. Does he not have any? He does not have any self-interest. So we know that he does not. He didn't come for the interest of Aditi, neither the interest of his own. He just came simply to perform a leela to favor the devotees. That's all the Lord does, and he just exchanges love and devotion with his devotees. So now, in this exchange of love and devotion, he's favoring Bali Maharaj. He's also favoring Aditi. He's favoring so many demigods. So indirectly, it looks like he's taking one side, but it's not the case. So here, Vamandev, when he's speaking so many nice glories about Bali Maharaj and his family, and he's playing a perfect part of a dwarf brahmana. So he's speaking in such a way that he's praising the charitable nature of the how great was Prahlad Maharaj, and then how he was very charitable to the poor and to the brahmanas, and he was praising all the chivalry nature of the brahmanas and the kings, so that at the end he wanted Bali Maharaj to basically uphold his promise. And to that as to that extent, the Lord is trying to bring that to the conclusion, and ask his charity of 3 paces of land. So now on this verse number 16, the Lord is disclosing what he wants. So all he's saying that all he wants is only 3 paces of lands. Padani Trini Daityendra. So just 3 paces of land in the measurements of my footsteps. So he's a small boy, and by his measurements, 3 footsteps is basically nothing. So Bali Maharaj is very much surprised, and he's saying, "Oh, you are not very intelligent, but you're very sweet, but you're not very intelligent. How are you going to maintain yourself by 3 steps of land? I'm such a great king. You come and ask me something, and then you go somewhere and ask. It's a insult for me. Whatever you want to ask in the whole life, just ask only from me. So I'll give you even an island, so don't hesitate to ask. But this is not sufficient for you. So that was what Bali Maharaj was thinking. So here I can see that even while asking before, also Vamanadev is praising such a noble family like Tashmat Tvatto Mahim Ishad Vrine Aham Varadarshabad. So like you are all very charitable, very munificent, but I just want only 3 paces of land. So here we can, Prabhupada explains that this shows the power of the Lord, like the Lord actually, he may ask something small, but within that, the entire universe, is included, So like in this case, 3 small footprints, but in that, the whole 14 planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower planetary systems, he was able to occupy. That is like the power of the Lord. It's just like showing that the Lord's supremacy. And then the Lord goes on and asks that, although you're very powerful, I know that, you have the entire planets in your control, but I don't want anything. So Naina Prapnoti Vaid Vidwan. So, and then he says the reason also, he says that I am a learned Brahmana, but if a learned Brahmana, he accepts charity, he should just accept whatever he needs. So that he does not get Artha Pratigraha. So Pratigraha means like when you're taking charity, Yavat Artha, like whatever is necessary only one should take. Otherwise, what will happen? He will get implicated by the sinful activities. So this is a very important point Prabhupada explains. So in this Varnashram system, if you look at it, Brahmana and Sannyasi, they are allowed to take charity. So and then a brahmachari also takes charity on behalf of his Guru Maharaj, or on behalf of his spiritual master, but not for himself. He's just basically a brahmachari, he's a student, but only a brahmana or a sannyasi is allowed to take charity. So the other two, vanaprastha and grahastha, they are not allowed to take charity. So in this case, even though it's charity, they cannot accept more than necessary. Otherwise, they'll also get implicated by that extravagancy, and then that extra money will implicate them into sinful activities, and gradually they will lose their potency as a brahmana or sannyasi. So in this case, the Supreme Lord Vamanadev, he's asking for three paces, but then the Lord's three steps is different from an ordinary person three steps. The Lord can measure with three steps the upper, lower, and middle planetary systems because he is unlimited. He is the greatest. He is the Vibhu. So and then Bali Maharaj says what we already discussed. Like he says that you are speaking very learned words, but then you are not so intelligent because you are asking something very something very minor, which is not going to be sufficient to maintain yourself. So, and he is also saying that swartham, like your self-interest, you don't know. Not you're not very intelligent to understand what's your self-interest. So swartham prati abhudayataha. So and then now Lord is actually Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. So he is basically Bhaktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Jnanatvamam Shanti Mrichati. So the Lord actually is the proprietor of everything. All of the sacrifices are meant to satisfy him, and all the planetary systems, is under his control. So all the austerities are also meant to satisfy him. So Lord does not want anything. He is not in need of any land from Bali Maharaj. So he's only actually came here to give welfare to his devotees, right? So from that perspective, whatever Bali Maharaj is saying does not apply, to the Lord. But still, Vamanadev is very patiently hearing what Bali Maharaj is saying. So, and then he is saying, of course, I can give you an entire island. So think about having an entire island. Like there are many, many rich people in this planet. They buy entire islands. Even though they are super rich, they cannot afford big islands. They may afford like a small island, which itself is a very huge amount of price. So here, Prabhupada explains that island means in the universe, entire universe is basically considered like one ocean. So in that ocean, all these planets are considered dvipa or island. So Jambu Dvipa. So each planet, like it's not just island means in this earth we have small islands. So it's not that Bali Maharaj is saying I can give you entire planet. So think about how much is in under his control. So that was his counter offer to Vamanadev. He's basically saying, and you're a small boy, so don't hesitate to offer anything, and just don't go anywhere and ask something else. Just ask whatever you want in this life. I can satisfy all your desires. So, and then the Lord replies, very beautifully. The Lord replies with very thoughtful, words that which is we all have to learn a lot from this. So, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Yavanto Vishaya Prastas Trilokyam Ajitendriyam Na Ashak Te Sarve Pratipura Yutam Nrupa. So here Ajita Indriyam. So Ajita Indriya means uh, one who controls, who conquers his senses. And it's opposite of that. Like he is not conquered his senses. So it's not self-controlled. So Jita means one who actually victorious. So Ajita, like not victorious on upon his own senses, whatever he may get, he is not going to be satisfied. So because his senses are uncontrolled, even if he gets the entirety of the three worlds. So he's saying Trilokyam. So imagine getting all the three worlds and still not being satisfied, basically that's kind of a deceased situation. So here, Lord is actually diagnosing on a very important point, that how a human being in this material world is in a deceased condition, because of this laulyam, like the greed. The more and more we want to accumulate, but we won't be satisfied even if we get the three worlds. Yeah, then because of uncontrolled senses. So the first priority is to control the senses, and in order to control the senses, we have to engage the senses in something positive, and that positive engagement is bhakti. So Prabhupada explains very beautifully on this purport. The Lord Rishabhadev mentions one particular verse. He says, Nonam pramatta kurute vikarma yat indriya priyati apnoti nasadu manye yato atmano ayam ashan api kleshada asha deha. So in this verse, Rishabhadev Maharaj says that when we consider sense gratification is the goal of life, trying to please the senses, have a nice life, then one becomes mad. One becomes mad after this materialistic living, and he goes on after this, earning, accumulating more and more, and then trying to enjoy the senses. So in this cycle, he gets complicated into the sinful activities. So, and then all this misdeeds and also past misdeeds, he again gets another body, and there is no end to the misery. It keeps going on like a cycle. So this is like a mad person situation, and he's saying this is not befitting for a sadhu. Na sadhu manye yato atmano. So one who is intelligent, on the other side, Rishabdev Maharaj says, he should come out of this cycle. He should not get implicated by him in the sense gratification, but by getting another material body again. So and then so in the Varnashram Dharma, we know that the highest one can actually um, go is the position of becoming a Brahmana, and then above Brahmana is basically a Vaishnava. So the whole situation from Brahmachari to the highest position is to train oneself how to control the senses and just be satisfied with the bare necessities. So not basically complicate our life. So the whole thing is to save some time so that we can spend the time in spiritual activities. Otherwise, the material life is going to be very, very busy. We can complicate as much as we want, we can earn as much as we want, but the satisfaction will neither come, neither the contentment will come. So at the end, it will be mrityu waiting. So in the Sanskrit, they say there is a pavarga and apavarga. This pavarga, pa, fa, bha, ba, ma. So it ultimately ends with the ma mrityu. So that is why this cycle is very dangerous. Even a learned person, the senses can drag. So that is why every second we have to be in association with devotees, contemplate how this material world can drag us to the hellish planets. So and then Vamanadev goes on. If I cannot be satisfied with three paces of land, then I would never be satisfied. So he's basically counteracting Bali Maharaj, and giving enough sastras evidence that just I am satisfied with it now. So why are you bothered about my maintenance? Practically, how am I supposed I'm just satisfied with three paces of land. So just it's I don't have to ask for more. So at the end of the day, if you're satisfied with whatever we have, then the happiness is already there. And then he gives the evidences and the history that Prithu Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj also had all the islands under his control rule. and he was not satisfied. And Maharaj Gaya, he was also, all the seven Sapta Dvipas were under his control. He was not satisfied. They could not achieve satisfaction, or they could not actually reach the end of their ambition. So Trishnaya itina shrutam. So, I have heard, see, like Vamana is saying, I have heard these things. He's not saying some concocted stories or whatever history, he is just saying. Um, so Saptadvipa Patayo, like these kings had ownership of 7 islands, and they were not satisfied. So it's a very nice counteract statement that Lord is giving. There is no way that Bali Maharaj can reject these statements, right? So and then finally, Lord is concluding that Yadruchaya Upapanne Santushto. So Santushta means satisfied. Vartate Sukham. So whatever comes of his own accord, one has to be satisfied. By his previous destiny, something will come to you. So just be satisfied. But if you're satisfied, then content, then it'll automatically bring happiness. But on the opposite side, if you're discontent, then it cannot bring you happiness. So it's a very beautiful statement. So one who is not self-controlled is not happy, even if he possesses the three worlds. On the opposite side, one who is just whatever comes is satisfied, he is content, then he is happy, even if it's a small thing. So here Prabhupada again quotes several verses. So the instruction, it is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, Sukham Aindriyakam Daitya Deha Yogena Dehinam Sarvatra Labhyate Daivat Yata Dukkham Ayanataha. So here, so the Lord is saying, Prahlad Maharaj's instruction, Prahlad Maharaj is saying that, so he's telling his demoniac friends, in his school, he's telling his demoniac friends that the happiness that is pursued by senses is basically when the senses comes in contact with the sense objects in any form of life. It could be any species of life according to one's past fruitive activities. And that kind of happiness and distress, automatically obtained without endeavor. Like there is no sarvatra labhyate, I mean everybody gets without any endeavor. So basically he's saying that that is not real happiness. The happiness that comes in the material world. The real happiness is, the Lord explains in Bhagavad Gita, Sukham atyantikam yatyat buddhi grayam atindriyam vetti yatrana chaivayam stitas chalati tatvataha. So this is the spiritual happiness that Krishna is talking about. Atyantikam means boundless, like unlimited happiness. And then it's through transcendental senses. So buddhi grayam atindriyam. So this is a transcendental senses that if one can experience this, the Lord says he does not move away from the truth. He stitas chalati tatvataha. He just captures that tatva and then stays on top of it. So this is completely purely spiritual. So like the Rishabhdev Maharaj says that Nayam Deho Deha Bhajam Narloke. So that Sukham, that happiness, there's unlimited happiness, that Sukham, Brahma Saukyam to Anantam, that Brahma Sukham, Anantam, like he says, unlimited. So you should go after that. So Tapodivyam Putrakaena Sattvam Suddeyat Yashmat Brahma Saukyam to Anantam. So that is the real happiness that Lord is actually explaining. So and then he goes on to explain that how material life is always causing discontentment. And so here Ashantasho Artha So he's saying that a person is dissatisfied for the sake of achieving so many lusty desires and trying to earn more and more money, he is completely implicated in this material existence, and that is the real cause of his material existence, with the repeated birth and death. So on the other side, how to come out of this? Santosha muktaye smrtaya. So the Lord is saying that actually the cause for liberation, if one is actually content and satisfied in this life, that itself is eligibility for liberation from this material existence. So material existence means the whole suffering of birth and death. So one comes to the point of at least saving his hard work and time, so that he can spend that time in the Lord's service, understanding what is transcendental, what is Brahman, Atato Brahma Jignasa. He can inquire questions from the spiritual master on the spiritual topics. So, and then the Lord goes on to explain the last two verses, 26. And then finally, Lord concludes that a Brahmana who is satisfied with whatever comes and the providence obtained, he increases his spiritual power. But on the other side, a Brahmana who is not satisfied whatever is coming in the form of the destiny, asantoshad, for him the spiritual power diminishes. So we can see how it's actually to be content is a very important quality in spirituality. And then finally the Lord says, therefore, tashmat, so O king, I just want only 3 paces of land. Vrine tvat varadarshabat. So he's basically saying, but I'll be pleased with the 3 paces of land. What is the use of prayojanam, like what is the use of anything more? I'll be satisfied, and that is the way of fully satisfaction absolutely needed. So and then last verse for today, 28. See Shuka Vacha. Now Sukadeva Goswami is concluding that after Vamanadeva has spoken, now Bali Maharaj smiled. So there is nothing for Bali Maharaj to say. The Lord counteracted with all the points, and now Bali Maharaj cannot counteract anything. Right? He says, okay, all right, whatever you like, I promise you. And then he is about to touch the Jala Bhajanam. So he's about to touch the water pot. So in those days, when the kings, give charity, they will touch the water pot as a promise. There is no promissory note or anything. It was their word itself is very powerful, and on top of that, they touch the water to make it as a very official statement. Making all the evidences of Panchabhutas and all that. So Hare Krishna, that concludes today's verse. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Vancha kalpadrubhyasya kripa sindhu me vachaha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for a very
Thank you very
nice
much,
class.
Mati. Hare Krishna.
Thank you all devotees for joining this session today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.